let me show you how to create a fillable form on Google Docs. So follow me to my desktop right now. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Jotform. On this video, I'm going to show you how to create a fillable form on Google Docs. There's two methods that we can do, and I'm going to show you both of these methods on Google Docs. So let's go ahead and jump over to Google Docs. Now, if you are not located here, go click on the top menu from Google and search for Google Docs. It's this little blue icon that says Docs. Go ahead and select it, and it'll take you right here. Let's go ahead and create a blank document for this purpose. And as I mentioned, there's two ways to create a fillable form. One of them is by building a table inside of the document. And there's a drawback to this. We'll have to share the document and you might have some issues with the distribution. So let's get started and build this right now. All right. So this is a form and I'm able to add images to this section. So if I want to add a logo to this, that is possible. I can add a title. So let's get started with a big title. Let's go ahead and center this right now. And I'm going to say fillable form just for testing purposes. Okay, so let's get started with this. Now I need to add a section that is a table. So for example, I'm going to go into insert, and in insert, there's a menu that says table. We are able to drag our mouse and select the type of table that we're going to need. So that's the amount of blocks that we are going to add. For example, for this top menu, I'm going to add 4 blocks. And here we go. They are now added right here. And this one will be, for example, the name, and this one will be the date. All right, here we go. And what I can do is I can remove the lines on the boxes so it looks a little bit nicer. Let me give you a quick example. Let's go ahead and drag this over here. So the name starts off at that section and the date will be over here. So I don't need too much space for the date. Now I'm going to select the line individually. You can see it just highlighted. There's an option here on the top that lets us set this to 0 and that will remove the line. So let's go ahead and remove some of these lines just to give you an idea of how this is going to look. All right, so let's go ahead and remove some of these. Same thing goes for the name. There we go. And on the bottom of the name, it's a little line there. Let's go ahead and set that to 0. And we now have a clean section for the name. And we also have the option to do this for the date. And it's just to give you an idea of how we can use this. So you have two available options: leave the boxes or clean the lines where you don't need them. All right, so here we go. We're done with that section. Now we want the section where it's going to be fillable. All right, so again, we're going to insert a table. Here we go. We're going to select the amount of blocks. In this case, it's going to be 4 by 10. All right, so here we go. Now we have 10 rows that we can add here. And again, I can add here on the top. For example, let's take this to the left and I can say, in this case, the type. Then I'll hit some spaces. Then I'll say this one is description. And over here will be the amount. And at the end, it's going to be total. Here we go. So let's go ahead and designate the lines a bit here. So it has a better distribution. Here we go. We don't need a lot of space for amount and total. So let's go ahead and set these over here. Let's go ahead and move them around. We can also use the table for this purpose, so we can add it there. I can also add this in the first line if that is more useful, but we can do it this way too, right? So here we go. Now we have a section where people can fill out. Now in this section, we have options available to set a drop-down section. So for example, in the type, I have it selected here. I am going to go into insert and I am going to select smart chips. Here we go. And I'm going to select drop down. This adds a drop down section. So for example, let's add a new drop down menu. And I'm going to say, for example, in this case, I'm just going to say colors just for testing purposes. And I'm going to say blue, red, green, and white. Like I mentioned, it's just to give you an example of how you can use this. You can also color code this to help you locate it easily. So for example, here we go. Here's green and blue. We're just going to change it to blue. Here we go. Let's go ahead and save this. And now we have a drop down section here where we can select it and the user can select the option for the type. Description, we can also set a description here as a drop down menu or fill it out manually. The amount, we can also set an amount here as a drop down too. For example, 1 through 10 or 1 through 100. It's up to you how you want to use this, or just let them type in the amount and set the total here manually. Now, another option that we can set here is a checkmark option. You can see here this checkmark option. I can set this right here to have a checkmark, and that will add it here. I can do this for all the rows to add that check mark. It could be useful or not, depending on your use case. And once you're good to go, you can go ahead and share this over here on file, go to share with others, Go ahead and name it before sharing. I'm good to go. Let's go ahead and skip for now. I can send this to people. So I have to set this to unrestricted so I can share the link. And in the gear option, I need to make sure that I allow editor access. That is a big drawback when creating a menu right here. But it's just to give you an option of how to create a fillable form here on Google Docs. Another option would be, let's go ahead and remove all of this. The second option that I want to show you is using a marketplace plugin inside of Google Docs. So let me go ahead and show you how to implement that here. So over here on the left, there's a plus option here that says add-ons. Let's go ahead and select it. And we're going to type in Fillable Documents. Let's go ahead and search for this. And we're going to use this one right here. In my case, I already have this installed. If you haven't installed it, go ahead and install it and make the connection. It will ask you for Google access to make this work. So make sure that you go through the steps and allow it access, right? So here we go. It's called Fillable Documents. It's free to use. Most of the features, some of the features are advanced features that you will need to pay for, but most of it is free. All right, so it's now installed and I can now use it inside of Google Docs. To use this, there's an option here on the top that says extensions. There's an extension that says here, Fillable Documents. If you haven't installed it, you won't see it here, right? So make sure that you install it first. Let's hit start, and that's going to kick off Fillable Documents here on the right. We have a brand new tab menu here on the right that will give us access to Fillable Document, right? So we have several options to get started. In this case, I'm gonna select Try Demo so you understand how it works. But you can go ahead and start with the setup here. Go through automatic setup so it understands what's in the page. So if you already have a written type of form on the page, that will turn that into a fillable document. But you also have the option to manual setup. But in this case, let's try the demo gallery, all right? So I'm gonna use this option here, which is student assessment. Let's go ahead and select it. Let's go ahead and proceed. Yes, we can preview, but in this case, we are going to proceed. Yes, I know this is a template, so let's go ahead and implement this, right? So it's going to prepare our demo and it's going to implement it on the actual document. You can see it's already populating the document here, but it's not finished yet. So it's applying the template. Next, it's going to apply the configuration destination spreadsheet. There's a spreadsheet to view the submissions. Then we have the configuration destination folder, setting up form fields, and then it's going to be done. It's a process that takes a few minutes, but it will be ready in a bit. While we wait, let's see what it actually implemented already. So there's new sections that we can view here. So we got the student name, student email, and certain fields that are tied to a variable. You can see here that it has variables. Those variables are going to be tied to Fillable Document, so they tied one with another when it's filled out. It's a system that's going to turn this into a form inside of Google Docs. So let's wait for this to be done and test it out. Here we go. It is now done. Let's go ahead and explore now. That will take us to the exploration system. And yes, it does have an editor system where we can edit the fields inside of this section. But right now, let's go ahead and explore this. Here we go. We have the launchpad. We have some quick actions. We have the web form, and that will take you to a web form that is tied to that fillable form in Google Docs. Let's go ahead and sign in to check this out. Here we go. Let's go ahead and continue. Let's continue. Here we go. And we have the Fillable Studio here. Now you can view your submissions here. You can view your forms here too. So it's kind of an external system to Google Docs. We can go ahead and view it from here. We can make modifications. We can see it. We can open the field control panel from here. We can save, we can generate, we can publish this, which is something that we want to do to share this. And you can do it from here. Here we go. It is now published. We have a fillable link that we can share. So this takes us to the form that we can fill out. Here we go. Student email, grade, subject, etc. And we can go ahead and submit it from here. Again, we have the options over here on Google Docs where we first launched this. We have the sidebar view. We can publish from here. We can view responses. This will take us to the link for responses. And again, that takes us to Fillable Studio. So this is a workaround for creating the form here on Google Docs. You have the options for the quiz here, collaborators, notifications, storage, fields. If you want to customize the fields for the Google Doc fillable form here, that is possible. So you can go ahead and save this or go back to field list where you have all the fields available that you can customize and move them around if you need to. So several available options with Fillable Document add-on that you can add here on Google Docs. Now, if you want something that is more robust, more powerful, and more flexible, then you have the option to use Jotform, where it lets you create a form with templates, a lot of elements available, connections, add-ons, and so much more. Let me go ahead and show you how to create a super easy form using a template. So let's go into create. Let's go into a form. And And in form, there's several available options to get started. You can go ahead and start with AI by just describing what your form is for, starting from scratch, importing a form, document to a form, collect signatures, or use a template. In this case, we are going to use a template. So for example, let's go ahead and use this template. It's a restaurant order form. Yes, you are able to add a payment gateway to charge in the forms. So look at this. It looks really nice, really flexible. You can go ahead and select the elements and go through the options, view the product list, and create products and all the available options to add elements. So you have all the basic elements here that you can go ahead and add to your form, payment gateways, widgets that takes your form to the next level. You got your settings, conditional logic, notifications, integrations, workflows, and so much more. And once you're good to go, you can go ahead and publish this with an easy link, a QR code, send it via email, or all the available options to embed on a website or a platform. So I hope you like this video. Please let me know here in the options of what you think about the available options to create a form on Google Docs and what you would like to see in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification to get notified when new videos come out. And that's a wrap.